You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the June 21st, 2023 meeting of the Michigan City Parks and Recreation Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Michigan City Park Board meeting for Wednesday, June 21st. If you can please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation
Thank you. Shannon, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Latchford.
Here.
Mr. Freeze.
Here.
Mr. Glidden.
Here.
Mrs. Sperling.
Here.
It's all present and accounted for. We have the minutes from our last meeting on June 7th. Unless there are any corrections or additions, do we have a motion to approve?
I would move to accept the minutes as printed.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
All right, any project updates?
No, sir.
Any old business?
No, sir.
All right, that takes us to table business. We have restoration licenses, 4 of them. Do we have a motion to untable the 4 restoration licenses? I'm sorry, there are 3.
Yeah.
3. Why don't we just do those first?
I would move that we take the restoration license for 1218, 1224, and 1226 Lakeshore Drive off the table.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Latchford. I will have to ask if the board would please table this again. I heard back from the landscaping company and they have not received the signature from the 3rd residents that would like the restoration done. And the landscaping company doesn't want to start until they have all 3 homeowners' signatures.
Okay, should we just table these indefinitely? I guess how many meetings in a row?
2 in a row.
Why don't we just, it would be my recommendation to accept the superintendent's suggestion, but maybe table indefinitely until they're ready.
Is there a particular reason why the 3rd resident, why they can't sign? Are they not here? Or
When I spoke with the representative of the landscaping company, they didn't give a reason, but they do live in Chicago. So apparently they're having a hard time getting a hold of them. They did not respond back to the landscaping.
Thank you. I would move then that we table these indefinitely.
They sought license. We're not forced to.
No, we're not forcing. It's what they wanted.
We have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, now do we have a motion to untable the 2024 budgets and capital requests?
I would move that we take the budget for 2024 budget and capital request off the table.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Right. Questions or comments from the board?
I do. Probably my biggest comment in this whole packet, this whole budget, I know it took a lot of work to prepare, but there's something in here from the zoo that they'd like to put in the budget, $1 million for a gift shop classroom, and I am completely against that. So that's just one of my comments with this. So I don't know how that gets handled, but
Maybe is there some comments or color that can be added to the request to help gain a better understanding of the purpose and the extent and the scope of that classroom and gift shop, where it is, what the revenue might be, more color on the classroom aspect. Is it being Is that a new classroom? Is it being replaced?
Those are all good questions, President Latchford. I can attest to the fact that the zoo is short on space. Their store that sells gifts does very well.
Right,
Has
does.
nowhere to store the gifts. They're actually storing them. Many times they come to City Hall and take back what they have stored here. I'm sure that the classroom space that they have now is not big enough.
Mhm.
So it's an addition that is, I think, a necessity for the zoo to grow. And as far as revenue is concerned, I think that it would increase revenue just for having that facility to be an attraction.
Where would the facility be built?
I've looked at that location and it's at the west end of the property, and it would be in back of the facility they have now for education.
So the west end, is that where you've got the gate and the center? If you're staring at the zoo, that would be to the right.
Yes.
Where the diet kitchen is in that building, would it be in addition to the building or?
No, it would be a separate building on that property.
It would actually replace the old concession stand on the far west end of the zoo,
Okay,
which is now being used as a classroom. And one of the issues we have with the gift shop are the 4,000 plus children we put through in field trips. They're all there at the same time. We have 700 kids and they can't fit. So we're losing sales because you can only let like 10 or 12 people in there at a time. It's so tiny.
Mhm.
So the thought was to build a much larger gift shop to get more people through it to hopefully spend more money.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. I still think that's a lot for a gift shop. So,
any other board questions or comments specific to the gift shop?
Don't have any idea about square footage, do we, that is suggested or desired?
I do not, because the only drawings that I've seen are conceptual. So I really don't have any idea of square footage.
So I think if you put a cost benefit analysis to it, it's hard to justify if you're looking at this as a business, because even though the total zoo concessions or gift shop probably 200,000 at the most
Mhm.
of sales, and
Right.
net profit, 25% out of that, that's 50,000. So for $1 million, I mean, the payback on this is a long, long time.
exactly. Mhm.
But there's some other operational efficiencies you gain from it, as Shannon mentioned.
Mhm.
And is that worth the extra money, or could that money be well spent somewhere else within the zoo, such as a Monkey Island project or some other project? And can anyone? I think the zoo put a priority list together, and this obviously would be top priority of all those other projects.
As of late, that's what I've heard, yes.
Is there a priority list?
I have not seen a priority list on it. So
Okay. Because one thing we should do, if this is removed, we should consider adding another project on a priority list, so we don't skip a year in the funding request.
So on the zoo's priority list, number one is the parakeet greenhouse enclosure for 150,000. Number two is the gift shop classroom for $1 million. Number three is an alligator winter enclosure for 80,000. And number four was add zebra to the water yard, which they're doing with endowment. And then the parakeet exhibit for 150 is grant funded for half, and the other half is endowment. Those were their four priorities that they turned in.
And of those priorities, how many are included in the budget for next year, the capital request?
All
Just
of them.
all of them. And is the capital request $1 million? That's specifically for the classroom.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The $1 million is for all projects or just the classroom?
Just the classroom
Okay.
and the gift shop.
Thank you.
I don't know. I just don't feel responsible going to the council and asking them for this kind of money right now. I mean, especially considering the financials, the way the financials looked last year for not just the zoo, but all the departments. And it's because of the economy and, you know, all the price increases of everything. And I just don't think it makes sense to even ask for it. I mean,
So
that gift shop is profitable. It is. I remember it from the previous report.
if the board would like, I do think you have time still. You know, if you wanted to pull this out and table it to get some more information from the zoo staff. I want to say it's July 20th is the week that we'll be meeting with the mayor and controller, and that's the first step after it leaves this
Okay.
board.
Mhm.
So that buys you a little time to, I guess, for us to investigate this further.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shannon. That'd probably be, just so we don't skip a funding cycle.
Yep.
Probably the best.
That sounds good. Mhm.
Any other items within the budget, questions or comments tonight?
I see we're requesting not athletic director, but a recreation director. But is there enough flexibility in the budget for seed money to start new programs? If we take on a new program, a volleyball program, we have the seed money to begin. Now you have to start from something, or balls, and you start of all the many myriad of things that we have listed there. Is there seed money? Is there flexibility in the budget to, hey, you know, need $1,000 to start this? Is that money in there?
Yes. So we would be able to run recreational programming with the budget we're asking for in 2024. If we do have a full-time rep director, my expectations are that after the first year, they're going to, you know, at least double their programming, and we would have to look at revenue and expenses again and actually, you know, see where we're at. But yes, there's enough to start some new leagues and new programs. I have a comment on golf. So, Mr. Neiman's here tonight. He brought to my attention that we are running short on golf carts. So we're missing opportunities for greens fees and cart rentals. So I'd like to request that in 2024, we change the golf budget where we normally trade in all our carts that we're rotating out. My suggestion is that we only trade in 15 out of the 35, giving us 20 extra carts to run out, and hopefully green fees attached to those cart rentals. So the change would be, from what I presented to you initially, $131,250, and it would be increased to $179,250.
Right, questions or comments?
Do we have room for them? Store them during the winter?
Yeah, we've got the,
Can you please come to the microphone? That way we're being recorded, and if you're back there, no one can hear you. Welcome.
Marty Neiman, golf course manager. Yes, we have the private car barn that has very few carts in it, so we would have room to store those in there. And then basically between the north and the south course, every weekend we're running out of carts by 8:39 in the morning. We don't get caught up till maybe 1 in the afternoon. We get lots of golfers that will not wait for a cart and they will leave. I've had figured amounts about between $2,000 and $3,000 a weekend for both golf courses for Saturday and Sundays. I mean, it's just happening every weekend when we get busy. So that's my goal, is if we had 20 extra golf carts, I don't think we would ever run out. And we would definitely recoup our funds with the extra green fees from people that walk away. So.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
I think it's a really good idea. How many total carts do we have now?
Well, right now we have approximately 115 of them at the north course, 85 at the south course. But many of them are sold that, I mean, right now I believe we've got about 8 of them in service waiting on parts. Last weekend alone, we have five older golf carts that got broken while they were out and had to tow them in. And it's happening every single weekend. We lose golf carts.
Yeah.
So
You said we have 115?
no, 100 total.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought you said 115 plus 85.
No.
Okay, so 100.
85 at the south course, 15 at the north course.
Gotcha. Oh, gotcha. Okay, that's a big difference. Okay. So and Shannon, you're saying if we keep 20 in our inventory, that's gonna, you're adding 50 grand to the budget? Well, that sounds like a pretty good deal.
Pay for itself in 1 to 2 seasons max.
Absolutely.
Is there a short-term solution? Can we rent golf carts in the meantime?
I have never checked into it in the past. I know we've had to do the same thing where we have brought in golf carts for like the tournament and stuff. I have not got to that point yet of calling around to find out where we would go to rent them for the weekends. I don't know if that would really resolve it by the time we're paying to rent other golf carts. So if we had them, we can store them, it would make way more money on it. So.
Well, but if we did look at renting them, even if we broke even on it, at least then we're kind of creating an atmosphere where people aren't going to say, don't go to Michigan City because you're not going to be able to play.
Right.
So, it may be worth looking into.
Yeah, we may actually have to look into that even just for the city tournament. Depending on how many people we get signed up, we could end up running out of golf carts, which we absolutely can't do at a tournament. So.
Right.
So I'd check in to find out where we used to get them, find out rates, all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
find out what we can do.
Okay.
But,
Sounds good.
I'm looking more long-term to solve our problems permanently.
Mhm.
So,
Even if we break even on the cart rentals, at least we'll get the green fees.
exactly. So I also have one other item I would like to bring up. I'd like to implement
If you don't mind, we're right in the middle of the budget, so let's get through that. And then we can, unless it's got to do with the 2024 budget.
no, I'm sorry. It's nothing to do with the budget.
Okay.
Just one other thing for the golf course. So you want me to wait on that?
Yeah, I'd prefer to get through this
Okay.
topic first.
Not a problem.
That say we remain focused on what
Okay.
subject at hand.
Thank you.
Thanks. Any other questions or comments on the budget? All right, so we've got these open items. One, the carts, which we'll add for next time. The zoo, which we'll get some information on next time.
Mr. Latchford, I do have one more thing, if this is the time for it. I would like the board to approve adding one more thing to the capital. That would be the south clubhouse porch to be enclosed. I am now working on price for that, and I don't think it would exceed $8,000 to $10,000. But this is something that I think that should be on the capital list, because the standing rainwater tends to penetrate through the concrete slab, and it's not enclosed. So driving rains will cause puddling and it will not flow away. So if you would, please approve the addition of one more item on the capital list, and that would be the enclosure of the porch at the clubhouse.
So on the golf capital list, priority number 4 is South Course Clubhouse renovation, $60,000. So that can be used for the porches, the carpeting, the paint that we talked about. If that's an adequate amount, it's already in the capital plan.
So maybe it's best just to make sure that that amount is adequate before before it comes before us again in our next meeting.
Okay.
Other questions or comments? All right, so I think we'll need a motion to table the budget to our next meeting on July 5th.
I would move that we table the budget to our next meeting.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Any other business before we move on to new business?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. We have approval of the senior center renovation project bid documents.
Thank you, President Latchford. In your packet, you were sent the senior center project bid documents. They have been looked over and reviewed and approved by our attorney, Mrs. Nurnberg. And this is the project to paint, replace the floor, and relocate the offices at the senior center. I will be putting this out for publication. If you approve of these, and contacting contractors in hopes that they bid on this.
Thank you, Mr. Shin. You said put out for bid and contacting contractors. I assume this amount is, the budget amount requires publication?
Yes, it does.
Okay, when you said contacting contractors, is that what you meant? Or are you going to be personally reaching out to
I
contractors?
can do both. I thought that might have been what you asked me in another project. Is publication the only way, or would you like?
I'm not sure if it's the only way. Maybe Ms. Nuremberg, we're allowed to reach out in addition to publication?
Yeah, we talked about. Yes, and I'm glad to confirm that.
It's fine. Yes. Any other questions or comments? Now, this project is long overdue. I think it's gonna be a huge benefit and improvement to the senior center. Questions from the public? Seeing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
I will move that we approve the senior center renovation project bid documents.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, now we have the 2023 Soul Fest and MC SBA Business Expo Major Event License Agreement.
Yes, this is a new event that they wish to hold on August 12th, which is a Saturday, at the amphitheater. It'll have music, entertainment vendors, food trucks. The only item that was included in here that we don't allow is bounce houses. So our insurance does not allow us to do that on any of our premises. Kayla, our new staff member, probably isn't aware of that. She's learning how to do the major events.
Okay.
So other than that, everything looks great.
Good evening, you're welcome.
Hello. Hi.
If you would like an opportunity to explain a little bit about the event and maybe add some, since this is publicized, maybe get a little promotion for it as well.
So this is our third annual Michigan City Small Business Expo. And we were trying to up the ante a little bit by adding music and entertainment and art and things to this, so we can bring more of a spotlight on our local businesses, entrepreneurs, and everything like that. So we did it last year, 2 years successful, and it's just growing. So we wanted to add to that as well to give the entrepreneurs another helping hand, because we got birthed a lot of entrepreneurs out of the pandemic. So we figured they all need help just as we do. So
Where did you hold it in the past?
the last year was at American Legion, 451, I believe is the year before that it was the Elks Lodge.
Okay.
Questions or comments from the board?
What type of entertainment do you have in mind?
We have music and poetry at the moment. Some of the entertainers, and we're trying to look for more, whoever wants to participate in putting it out there like that. Just kind of a nice soulful vibe, something calm to go. We're trying to kind of mimic the what did I call it? In LaPorte, at Fox Park in LaPorte, they have like the blues festival and things like that. So we're kind of mimicking that.
You guys work with the children's entrepreneurs, it's kind of a new thing.
Yeah. Yes, they actually just contacted us today and asked to be a part of it, because we had like 7 children entrepreneurs last year that did it, and they really enjoyed. They really made a lot of money.
Great organization.
So, yes.
Just so the board knows, there's a new organization in town, and they're working with children entrepreneurs. So they set up booths at First Friday. I went to their car wash last
Saturday.
Was it Saturday?
Yep.
Watching a lot of the kids, and they're actually, some of these kids are like 12 or 13, and they have.
My daughter is my granddaughter is a part of it, and she makes pretty good money. No, not the. I know who that is though. She does,
London.
she does the Cute Cookie Kid.
Okay.
So they make the cookies and like lemonade and things like that, but they actually just touch base with us to see if they can set up as well. And depending on where we are, so we're gonna let them set up as well.
With a couple of the parents in this group and invited them to come talk to the Parks Department on how we can help them expand with programming and use of our facilities, because I think it's just super exciting. These kids are actually doing something fantastic.
That's
And
awesome.
Yes, we want to give a
future leaders.
Yeah, we want to give a forum to anybody, any entrepreneurs, because you need some type of niche today in today's society. And if we start them early, then we have a good chance of keeping them out of trouble.
No, I'm excited. Thank you.
I noticed that the bathrooms at the park houses are locked at 8. And on the second page, you have the starting time as 8. What would it be the approximate ending?
The starting, it would be from 5 to 10. And we would wrap up like around 9, but you give people kind of like a little bit to clear out or whatnot.
I was just curious if it wasn't anything.
Yeah.
This is a free event.
Well, not yet. We were hoping to get more sponsors so we could make it a free event, but trying to deflect some of the costs and paying some of the entertainment to come, then we couldn't. We're trying to make it a low cost event because we're still looking for sponsors for different things.
Thank you. Any other questions? Any questions from the public?
We're not conflicting with boat racer.
No, the boat race, isn't the boat race the first weekend? Because we was gonna have it that weekend, but the boat race is that following weekend.
Yeah, we wanted to add to the festivities, but it looked like it would have been too much going on out there.
There's no conflicts this weekend.
If there are no other questions or comments, it's the pleasure of the board.
I would move that we accept this 2023 MC Soul Fest and a business expo on stated date.
Yes, without the balance.
All in favor, say aye.
Without the bounce house.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, now we have the 2024-2027 greenhouse office building lease.
City council.
Everyone remembers we put out a request for proposal for bids. We received one back last week. And now it's before us in terms of an actual executable lease for the 2024 to 2027.
Yes, so this is the same lease as the last 3-year lease. It has been reviewed and approved by General Insurance and your attorney as well. The only thing that has changed is the lease dates and the payment of $700 per month for this coming 3-year period. And I will note that because the bid was less than 90% of the appraised value, we have to run a legal notice in the newspaper. So Laura reviewed and approved that, and it ran on Tuesday.
Can you give me some more feedback on the legal notice and what's the purpose? And is there any right for anyone to object?
I don't believe so. The statute just says if the governing body leases for less than 90%, it's just a simple, what was it, 2 paragraphs, Laura?
Yes, it's that.
Just a notification.
Notification.
Just for everybody on notice because it is lower than what we had. So
Thank you.
What was it appraised at?
It's like 7.
appraisal 75.2. Does it sound right, Shannon?
Yeah.
We use the average of the 2.
Yes.
Thank you. And we can lease it for less than appraised value because one, we publicly ask for bids and we don't receive them. Any other questions or comments? Questions from the public? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the 2024-2027 greenhouse office building lease?
I would move that we accept this lease agreement.
Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, next up is the approval of the 90% plan for Water Tower Park renovation project.
Yes, included in your packet was the project schedule and drawings and specifications, and then also some cut sheets for the equipment, along with the comments from the grantor from the DNR. So Austin is here tonight if you have any questions from the design team. This represents 90% completion, which is the last, not the last approval. There will be one more approval that we'll have to go through with the grantors, and then we can put this out to bid.
Thank you, Shannon.
Welcome.
Questions or comments from the board?
I don't think that a fence is included in here, a fence between the street and the park. Is it because of cost or because it's not necessary? I would think we would want to funnel kids to cross the street at places where the speed tables were going to be, where the traffic is slowed, rather than let people cross. I mean, without a fence, people cross wherever else.
Yeah, there is no fence in the project for several reasons. Are you talking about perimeter fence?
No, just on between the street and the park. Not the whole perimeter, just between the street and
Okay, so no, there is no fencing. The playground itself was set in the back of the park to keep the kids away from the street. And fencing actually encourages vandalism. So a lot of people think that fencing is safer, and it's not. Vandals feel safer when they're in the fenced-in areas. So 15, 20 years ago, we started removing fencing from the parks, which is kind of a national thing now. So there isn't anything other than bollards in between the new parking lot that's going in and the playground to keep traffic from going through on the trail. But yeah, fencing was not included. Now there is going to be like an entry point with landscaping, you know, that's going to be very, very visible that this is where you enter the park. But that's all landscaping. It's not hard structures.
And then I heard an idea was that we keep the present basketball court rather than demolish it and use it as pickleball court.
Yeah, that was just a discussion that happened this morning. So we're looking at some options for pickleball, but that was one idea that came up.
Any other questions from the board? I have one comment. This has been a long project. You can look back as what's in front of us, the permits and the process that we've gone through. And it's so extensive because there are no city funds being used. This has been the source of funding. Has all been the CDBG and the LWCF. Anyway, it's a great project because Shannon has worked very hard to source funds outside of the city budget. When you do that, it just adds layer and layer and layer of steps you have to go through. And she's navigated those steps very well and got us to 90% there. So it's well worth the time, the extended time it's taken, in my mind.
Awesome. Good job, Shannon.
Thank you.
Nice work. Any questions from the public? Oh, I had one other question. The forester sent a list of recommendations with native plants and trees. Were we able to implement any of those recommendations?
So no, that is a separate project. So first of all, the city forester is no longer employed by the city of Michigan City. While she was here, she was writing a grant to forest some of our parks. So we asked our design team to add a tree landscaping plan to this. So when the grant is ready to be submitted, we could get the free trees. And then we'd already have the plan. So we have the plan. I don't know if the grant is still being submitted. Again, that position's been vacated. But I have access to tons of free trees through a lot of the groups that I sit on. So it's great that we have the plan. You know, now we can pick a few native species and just follow this and be done.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, see no questions from the public. Do you have a motion to approve the 90% plan for Water Tower Park renovation project?
Would move we approve the 90% plan set for Water Tower Park and renovation projects.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, next up is a construction agreement for the golf cart barn roofing project.
Thank you, Mr. Latchford.
You're welcome.
In your packets is the proposed construction agreement between Park Department and J&B West Roofing that has been reviewed and approved by our attorney, Laura Nirenberg, and I recommend that the board approves this construction agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Shin. Questions or comments from the board? This is simply just a new roof on this building.
Correct. At least stripping off the old roof and putting on a new one. Correct.
Thank you.
Simple.
I noticed there was a cost in there for, what was it, 44?
44 sheets of roof sheeting, correct?
I know the sheeting is, each piece is pretty expensive. They're also going to inspect the remainder, or will 44 be an entire coverage?
No, that would be just the ones that you can observe from the inside looking up. If there are more, they will charge us time and material at market cost.
That's what I thought. Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Questions from the public? See none. What's the pleasure of the board?
I would move that we allow the construction agreement for the golf cart barn roofing project.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, now we have the city employee golf tournament request.
Thank you, Mr.
You're
Latchford.
welcome.
Finding that my notes. Yeah. Thank you. So I have met with 2 city employees requesting to run an all-city employee golf tournament in the spirit of friendly interdepartmental competition. The proposed tournament would be held at our municipal South Golf Course, tentatively scheduled for Sunday, August 27th at noon. Our typical golf fee with cart for this time is $41. The employees planning this event would like the board to consider a reduction in the base fee of $8 per employee for this event. As a superintendent of the Park Department, I recommend this fee reduction for the tournament. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shin. Questions or comments from the board?
I think this sounds like a lot of fun. I was actually thinking that maybe the reduction should be more because they're city employees, but I don't know what the history is with that, what you guys have done before. Never had.
I think recently you just approved the school systems outing at $20 per golfer. Is that correct?
Yeah, the difference is a weekend versus, I think the city school is a weekday. Is that correct? Did you do you remember the date of this Michigan City High School event?
It's the 28th of July on a Friday.
Thank you.
So we probably don't know how many people either, right? Because that would make a difference.
That's a first year event.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you're not an employee, you wouldn't get this, right?
No.
Oh, but anyone could play in it?
No.
You have to be a city employee, yeah.
No ringers.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Questions from the public? All right, see none. What's the pleasure of the board?
Well, I'd like to move that we accept this proposal for the city employee golf tournament. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm sure the different departments will enjoy playing against each other.
Mhm. I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, and earlier today, Mr. Shin presented one other item put on the agenda, and this was the Bolt for the Heart 5K.
Thank you for adding that, Mr. Latchford.
You're welcome.
The proceeds from the Bolt for the Heart 5K will go towards putting AEDs in all police vehicles in LaPorte County. The event is October 14th and starts at 9 a.m. It will be held in LaPorte this year at Soldiers Memorial Park. I am requesting on behalf of the Michigan City Police Department to put up a banner at the entrance of Washington Park, Lot 1. I thank the board for adding this to the agenda, and I ask that you vote on this item this evening, and I strongly recommend its approval.
Thank you, Mr. Shin.
Thank you.
Questions or comments?
They just want to put up a banner.
Correct. And I know,
Promoting the 5K.
correct.
For like what time period?
Oh, from now until the race,
Oh,
from very soon until the race.
and how big is the banner?
The police did not mention how big the banner was, but I assume it's going to be at least 3 foot by 5 foot.
And where exactly?
They would like it to be at the entrance of Washington Park. And I know that that's been an issue before when people have programs like yoga and we don't want a lot of signs out there. But I felt with the cause of this race and the AEDs in the police vehicles, how important that is, that I might bring it up to you and see if you could approve.
And what are they putting in the police vehicles? What is that?
Oh, the AEDs are resuscitators.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Do you have a rendering of the banner, or is this it?
I do not, but the information will be from the materials.
Thank you. I think it's a great idea, but do we typically need board approval for any banner? Not one.
I would think so because of the fact that in the past, when programs would like to advertise for their yoga or their exercise in the park, we did not, the board and I did not want a lot of signs out there. But I thought in this case, we could make an exception.
All right. So this, it's a 5K, you said?
Walk, run, yes.
Walk run, yeah. Is it all of the proceeds go towards
AED,
purchasing this?
Yes.
They don't go to anything else?
That I know of. I'm almost positive I can check on that.
Yeah, I think we should definitely make
I-
sure of that.
So we'll
We
have
have the event multiple years. It's been in Washington Park
Oh.
maybe the last 3 or 4 years, and they've been able to supply, I believe, every unit in Michigan City with the device.
Oh, wow.
They've actually gone statewide, so they're doing state police in all 92 counties.
Oh, that's cool.
So this is a portable defibrillator. They're very expensive. We have 7 in the department, and they run about $2,000 a piece if it's an indoor unit, and if it's something for like Washington Park, the lifeguards or trucks that are moving around, $3,000 and up. So
Wow.
this has been an amazing program for
Wow.
the whole state.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay.
In my opinion, I'm all for it, but I think we need some more information. We have time.
Sure.
It isn't until October. And granted, the more people see it, sooner the better. But without knowing the size, without having a rendering, without knowing exactly where, it's kind of difficult to give carte blanche. Because we don't want to give the impression that's being held in Washington Park. And that's one thing I'm concerned about.
I'll get those 3 items for you.
Right, and anything else that we didn't think of, but we want next time it comes before us, assuming we'll table this request, to have all the questions answered, so we could just move on with it. Any other questions from the board?
So definitely a mock-up of what the sign is going to say, right? And what it's going to look like.
I think that would be important.
Yes.
Size and the location. Other questions or comments from the board? Questions from the public? We have a motion to table the Bolt 5K banner request.
I would move that we table the Bolt 5K race until we get more information on it.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Any other items that we need to address before we get to superintendent's report?
No, sir.
All right, it's to you, Mr. Shin.
Thank you, Mr. Latchford.
You're welcome.
I'd like to report a little bit on the zoo here first. The zoo director, Jamie Huss, reports that Washington Park Zoo has had increased gift shop, co-op, and admission revenue. Concession stand revenue is the only area in which the revenue is down because it was closed much of April and May due to staffing issues. But it is open now, and we are hoping for a record year. The zoo has had 3,935 more visitors than last year at this time, which is an increase in admissions revenue of $32,088.20 from last year. So I think that's very good with the zoo and their staff on how they work out there. The park maintenance department, I would like to report that sand ever so blowing onto the parking lot, sidewalks, and the lawns out there has been a real chore for park maintenance. They have worked 730 man hours this quarter. It is not including the setup and breakdown and sand moving for the Singing Sand sculpture event. They have tripled the hours for this quarter. Moving sand for these sculptures was a large task, and also moving sand for the lifeguards and their jump down pile of sand. So park maintenance has been very busy. There's been cold weather with north winds, and as it gets cleaned up, it gets reaccumulating. So I'd like to report that the numerous water lines and breaks in irrigation systems, damaged sprinkler heads by cars running them over. The maintenance department has also been very busy with a lot of plumbing problems due to cars driving up on the curb and damaging the sprinkler heads. We also have problems with plumbing in the bathrooms. If you notice, one bathroom was closed for a day and a half due to patrons, for some reason, desanding in the sinks and clogging the drains. At the splash pad, we are all set. A few more seals and valves have to be replaced at each feature. Those will be replaced shortly. There is a main shutoff valve that engineering company Gasvada found leaking, and that valve came in today and will be installed tomorrow. There was a permit that was applied for several months ago, and that permit publication time limit ends on the 23rd, so the permit should be issued shortly after that, and the splash pad will be open to the public. A little delay because of that permit issuing. I would like to move over to comment some of the people that have been working real briefly here, and all of the people that have been working at the park department. Just very quickly, all of the directors, from Kerry Krasinski with baseball, having to deal with parents that have confrontations. He has settled the youth baseball down to a minor problem. Tara at the senior center is doing a great job. Mr. Volts, Jamie at the zoo, Marty Neiman at the golf course, and our administrative staff here in the office, and our intern Dominic are just doing a fantastic job at this time of year when it's so busy. But I do want to mention one person that has taken the brunt of the retirement of the golf green superintendent is our golf mechanic, Michael Moore. He has been working arduously to keep up with the mechanics and the irrigation and the supervision of our two new workers at the zoo. And I must say that Mr. Moore is doing a yeoman's job keeping that golf course afloat. The turfs look very well. Our spray tech that you approved of the contract to hire, Tony Staley, is doing a great job. But he also gives credit to Michael Moore, who keeps the irrigation going. So the golf course looks fantastic. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shin. Questions or comments for the superintendent?
Are there any preliminary numbers on the sand sculpting weekend?
I didn't get any numbers
Okay,
on that.
I was just
I think
curious.
it was well attended.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. 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 Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Any vandalism to report?
Yes, sir. The bandstand, sadly to say, was ransacked about a week ago, maybe 4 or 5 days ago, I should say. Some balusters were broken and some bulbs were broken, and some of the decorative outer boards by the stairwell.
Wow, that's too bad.
That's not the amphitheater, that's the bandstand.
Correct.
Shannon, where do we stand with that project bandstand now that we just brought it up?
We're just waiting to get a contract signed for the lead paint abatement, and then it's ready to go. So 2 companies were interested in it, but there was just some delay where they weren't sure what their schedule is going to be. But we're really close. So I expect any day now to get that contract, and then we're off and running.
Cool.
With the whole project, not just the paint?
The whole project.
Whole project.
Correct.
Fantastic.
But the abatement's kind of been holding it up. We've got to have that contractor first.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any other questions or comments for the superintendent? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the liaison reports. I'm the planning commission liaison, and there was a meeting, but there's a new housing development proposed on Woodland and Hawes Road. There's going to be a park in there, but it's not under the jurisdiction of the Michigan City Park Department, just for your information. Other than that, there was nothing pertaining to the park. Port Authority liaison, Mr. Freeze.
There was a meeting I attended, but there wasn't anything pertinent to the park department.
Thank you. And the Zoological Society, Mr. Glick.
They did not have a meeting this month, but they had some upcoming events. July 9th is the 5K run, and July 22nd, the boat cruise, 3:30 to 6.
Thank you. The attorney's report.
Nothing to report,
Thank you. Any director's reports?
I have a short report. I just wanted to inform the board that the city council heard on second and third reading last night approval of $750,000 construction funding for the Fetters Alley Playground project. And I would like to thank Councilman Prespolinski for starting this conversation and really pushing this through, and thank the council for the funding.
Thank you.
And then secondarily, Michigan City Police Department wanted to present our maintenance director and his staff with a certificate of appreciation for assisting them with their 2023 Police Youth Academy, which is going on this week. So Pat helped get golf carts to them and set up their tracks, and we're delivering tents to them tomorrow for their graduation ceremony. So they wanted me to present that to you at the meeting tonight.
Congratulations, Pat. You and your staff.
That's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that takes us to Department of Finances. Back to Mr. Glick.
Michigan City Park Department claims docket for June 21st, 2023. Municipal, $369,295.80. Golf petty cash, $1,864.10. Total claims, $371,159.90. I would move that we accept this claims docket.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The payroll, number 11 for 2023, May 14th through May 27th, date 6/2/2023. Total payroll $99,371.91. I would move that we pay the payroll.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Payroll number 12, 2023, May 28th through June 10th, pay date June 10th. Total payroll $113,145.06. And I would move that we meet the payroll.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
From the Board of Works, we have invoices totaling $130,885.10 were paid at 6/20/23 to Board of Works meeting. Hitchcock Design Group, Destination Playground, $2,085.10. Northwest Indiana Fence Company, Patriot Park Fence Repairs, $128,800. I would move that we accept the Board of Works invoices.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Credit card charges totaling $431.95 for the corporate payment systems for the following: Wristband Express for Zoo Education Zoo Camp, $273.10. Amazon.com administrative batteries, sticker, office scanners, $110.86. And Amazon.com administrative smile, you're on camera sign parking, $47.99. And I would move that we accept these credit card charges.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Were there any gifts and donations, minor transfers, or zoo endowment bills?
No, sir.
Thank you. All right, comments from the public? Good evening, welcome.
Hello, this is Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street. I know we talk a lot about neighborhood parks. I just want to do a little FYI with both the board and the members of the public. There's a lot of confusion about this. It's about the property that fronts Ames Field along Franklin Street. You know, it's the Pioneer Park and the Pioneer Playground, the Pioneer Parkway. And like I said, that does not fall under the jurisdiction of the Michigan City Park Department of the city. That property belongs to the Michigan City Area Schools as part of the Ames Field campus. You know, that all basically went back around, what you see there went on back around 1995. And then around the time Elston Rogers consolidated, Ames Field was constructed. That was all that went in there with the field restoration, all the benches and playground, and there from the fund, the private donations that was raised by the Save the Fountain Committee back then. So, you know, it's, if they want to see something there, something improved there, they got to go take that school board day. Be at the administration building on Carroll Avenue, when it's the O'Reilly Elementary School there on Carroll Avenue, 6 p.m. Tuesday. So I just want to pass on. It was dedicated after a gentleman named Mike Paitina. He was a longtime groundkeeper at Ames Field, and he's a downtown Santa Claus. So I just want to clarify that to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, any board comment?
I just want to mention the park that we passed the funding for last night. And I remember way back, like Shannon said, this has been going on for a long time. I know Don has been involved with that for a long time. And I remember when we first started talking about it, I just thought in my mind, I just picture something like the park behind the police station, something like Gardena. And then as the project moved along to see what it's evolved into, very exciting. And this is going to do, I think, wonders for Washington Park once we get this thing up and running. So the whole council, there were no objections to the vote, and we're all looking forward to seeing this come to life. And especially the Water Tower Park, as Shannon may know, and some of you may know, I call that my home field. That's that's the whole basketball court where I grew up, responsible for the bad knees and hips and everything I have now, running up and down that concrete all my life. So I'm really excited to see what happens at Water Tower Park as well. I remember, was it 2 years ago? We were sitting out there and I think did it start raining on us when we were trying to get public input?
Rain.
Yeah, in the rain, public input.
Some comments in.
Yes, we did. People did come by and drop off some public comments. So this has been going on a long time as well, as Phil talked about. So I'm excited to see what happens up there at the Water Tower Park. as well. So, hopefully we'll get some people back out into that park and using it when it comes up, So we're moving forward. Park department's moving forward. I'm happy about that.
Thank you, Councilman Damon.
Thanks, Brian.
I was at Patriot Park on the last Sunday, or last Saturday, that they had soccer and softball. The parking situation was kind of chaotic. So I think we need to come up with a formal plan. There's a more formal plan for parking when we have so many people there at the time. I don't know what parking lots were engineered, the original, but they never got nothing. There's a lot of people there. Happy people, a lot of active people, but I think we need to be safe in our parking plan.
Mr. Glenn, I would agree. We've talked about parking up. There's been a problem year after year after year, and it always seems to be a monetary constraint, but we should be able to resolve that somehow, or at least I agree. We maybe put our heads together again and see that up with the plan. Any other comments?
A couple of them, again, thanks to the council for promoting and helping the Better Alley project. I know the board and the public are really going to appreciate it. And secondly, Bruce Manor, who is the liaison from the Port Authority, asked me to, he couldn't make it tonight, asked me to give some kudos to Pat Volz and his crew for the wonderful job they have been doing, and for the park department for this land sculpturing project. I don't know if you missed it. You really missed just a wonderful thing. And also for the Pride Parade, the way it was conducted. That's from Bruce.
Thank you, Mr. Freeze. Pat, you got quite the accolades tonight. Well deserved.
Well deserved.
Well, our next meeting is going to be Wednesday, July 5th, 5 p.m. right here. Unless there are any other comments, we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.